Hello, today everybody. I'm Chris. I'm one of the founders of Farm to You by Bombita, and we are trying feverishly to keep them afloat. It's been a tough second half of the year for us in 2025, but I wanted to talk today a little bit about something that's coming up. We got an email from the mayor yesterday. Um, I guess he is signing an executive order tomorrow, no, Thursday, um, trying to basically the executive order, from what I'm understanding, is to direct the city offices to kind of put emphasis on local foods, quality foods, food deserts, things like that. Um, what that actually will mean in detail could mean things like easier to get, food permits, um, building inspections, fire inspections, waiving fees, maybe, fast tracking things, um, which we've not really had an issue with some of that. So, um, not really sure what this is. But today's video is, oh, and then so they're taking this executive order and building a summit off of it. The woman I talked to in the mayor's office says November, maybe early December, for the summit, and at that we will actually sit down and talk and give presentations and break out into try to develop policies for what they're calling ABQ Fresh. Um, I'm going to be honest. I have my doubts. Um, I'm a realist. I try to be optimistic. So, like, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be broadly optimistic, but then narrowly pessimistic. It's a weird dynamic. Um, and on things like this, because we went to the announcement and the rollout of the new retail spaces for the airport when they were redoing the Albuquerque terminal. And they were trying to do a bigger focus on local retailers and food businesses in those spaces. And the onboarding for that was just atrocious. I remember sitting in that room and looking at all the details and going, this is the worst way, because they were trying to attract like smaller, like for someone like kind of like us that had just a few locations or haven't expanded. They wanted those types of people. They had, I think, four units that were specifically going to be designed. They were modular for small businesses to like go into to expand. The problem with them was, for one, I think you got a year in there. And the whole point was to let you have that year, and you had special like discounts. You didn't have to pay the same rates and things as the other people. And you were, and it was basically an on ramp for you to become a permanent space in the airport. But they didn't connect those two together. It was do this thing for a year, which is going to be hard because you have to be open at certain hours. And for someone, let's say you run like us, I think at the time we had two locations. For us to open a third and dedicate resources to keeping it stocked, which it would probably be much busier than our other two stores, it would have been great for us financially. But there's a lot of infrastructure you have to put in place to support that. All your deliveries have to go through a facility and be scanned, and you have to like plan all that ahead. So it's not like something you just wing. And then at the end of your year, you're just cut off. You put in all this infrastructure and you hire people, and then you fire them and stop because they didn't connect, because they were very specific about this. They said, when that's up, you're not guaranteed a spot in the airport anymore, and you have to go through the regular RFP process. So it's like you're basically saying, hey, it's awesome if you get this, but then you're just going to have to stop doing it and then get in the airport like everyone else. But you have a little bit of experience. And I'm like, what a terrible way for a small business to be like, let's expand into this, but then we can't keep doing it. I mean, and just the idea that you have to like hire people and then say, sorry, it's just this is just a 1 year job and then you're fired. You spend, because having good people is a big deal. The less turnover you have, the better. There's knowledge in those people. And then to just be like, kick out of the airport like that. So I think this is going to end up like that. That's my realistic negative opinion on what's going to happen. Because when it was announced, and I looked through, there's not a lot. There's 2 pages on the Albuquerque website, the City of Albuquerque. One of them has some information. The other one is a sign-up form to be involved with the summit. And the very broad information there seems like they want to focus on food deserts and local food and high quality, but it's part of another initiative called ABQ Affordable, so they're trying to get pricing down. The problem with that is, being that we are the only people that run grocery stores that are 100% local, so we kind of have a lot of experience and expertise on this subject, is that they can't help us. The only framework available for a city or even the state to provide funds to businesses to expand is capital expenditures. And even that is very limited. It's the LIDA project. It's where they can kind of give funds to even for-profit businesses to spur economic development, but they can only put it towards construction and land, and you can't even use it for rent. You can use it towards the abatement part of rent and get credits for that. You can't use it for vehicles. You can't use it for wages. You can't use it for buying inventory. And in our business of providing 100% local food, the inventory is the most expensive part. After that is labor. The rent and the buildings and the equipment, that's the easy bit. That's the more affordable part. And so you can't do local food unless you're going to subsidize the cost of the food. And doing the research in the past 24 hours, there is no legal framework to do this. The city or the state would either have to change all the laws or break laws in order to support any initiative like Farm to You. Because literally, like if someone came up to me and said, here's money, let's say it's $2 million. If someone came up and said, here's $2 million, open a Farm to You here, 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 and here. I could probably do up to 6. 4 to 6 is probably the range. And we can open them really fast. Like the longest it took us to open a store is 4 weeks. That's getting access to the space, signing the lease, to open day, permitting everything, 4 weeks. And I don't know any other retailers that move really that fast. We could do that. We could do it quickly. We could put it in neighborhoods or areas where they want it. We're super flexible, and it would be a great product. The problem is that we might still fail if we don't have the financial support on the actual expensive part, which is the food, and then the labor after that. And part of that labor is the distribution part, moving the food around. We have an electric vehicle fleet that is moving food. Someone's moving food at somewhere from one location to another 7 days a week. There's probably not a day where someone's not moving food in our system. And we only have 3 stores and then the farm kitchen, so we're spread across 4 counties. And that's why I'm kind of hesitant whether anything will come from this. It will probably be like the airport thing, where well-intentioned people want to help, but unless they're willing to either break the law or they can talk the governor into calling an emergency session to make some changes, either enact a tax that goes on groceries, and if you're selling local groceries, you get a rebate all that tax goes into a fund, and everyone selling local food gets rebates back out of that fund, and it's proportional. So we would get a large number of rebates back being 100% local versus like Walmart is probably, I don't even know if it'd be 1%. And so we would get money that way. But that's to change taxes and do the tracking and for the state to be able to confirm what your percentage level or how many local products you're selling or however they want to measure it. That's not anything you do in a few months, and we could be out of business by the time they figure that out. And so then someone else would have to step in and do that work. And so that's, and if you're wondering how we got here, I wanted to make this part of the video as well. So the reason, it's kind of funny, not applying the law is the reason why the way the city helps is to break the law. It's a weird thing to say. So there's a law from, I think it's 1936. I got it right here. Yes, it was done after the Great Depression, 1936. The Robinson-Patman Act basically made price discrimination illegal. It was to keep uniform pricing for goods of like grade and quality. And so basically what it meant is a big retailer can't go to a producer and say, you have to sell me this price, this product at this price, because I'm going to buy more of it. It's illegal. And then that way, small grocers who are paying, $1 a pound for something, they pay $1 a pound, and the big chains, they pay $1 a pound. The big chains can't go, oh, I need you to sell it for 80 cents a pound because I'm going to buy, 1,000 times more than those little small shops are. Here's the thing. That law is still on the books. It's still there. That is still the law in the United States, that you cannot do that. And yet it's happening every day. In the 80s, they just stopped enforcing it. Reagan administration stopped enforcing it. And let's see, there's some stats we have here. So that squeezed out independent grocers. That's the reason why we have food deserts now. In 1982, 53% of the grocery market was independent grocers. Small, sometimes 1 to 5 locations, very small companies. So 53%, more than half, the majority of grocery stores in the United States in 1982 was 53%. In 2017, it's 22%. So food deserts emerged because they couldn't afford the higher prices, and people would travel to, go into towns and leave rural areas because they could go to like these super centers and things like that and get food cheaper because those grocers were pushing the price down because they're buying in such big volume, which is not legal. Unfortunately, the law doesn't really have a lot of teeth, so it's not like, that's the sad part, is that there is a law on the books. Companies are breaking it. It's at the detriment to all of the citizens. Anyone who lives away from a major chain grocery store is being harmed by the law not being enforced. And so that's why, so now it's like, how do you pressure, because that's what I was telling my wife. I was like, I want to go to this meeting and say, screw it, break the law. The executive order should say the City of Albuquerque is now going to become a criminal enterprise, and we are going to provide direct inventory relief to retailers that sell local products so that the price can be affordable for citizens. And come arrest me, we're going to do it anyway. Like I said, the law doesn't have, so it's like, you got to break the law to fix the law you've been breaking, which, of course, the City of Albuquerque didn't break that law. It's a federal law. I think the FTC is the ones that are supposed to be in charge of that. So that's what we're working on. It's kind of sad. If anyone watching this is in the New Mexico area, then we implore you to get involved with things like this. Maybe you want to look at that summit and attend it. And then, of course, supporting us is just another way, because you know me, this is the fight we're in. And so we're going to, and we have no problem telling people that they're making terrible decisions and terrible mistakes, and the better way to do it, because we built the better way to do it, giving our limited resources. And if someone wants to give us resources, then that's something that we can develop and we can make it better. We could build much better grocery stores that are more robust with better prices if we had more support from people that have all the money. But unfortunately, as we found out, even the USDA can't help our farm fix this problem that almost every farm is having, and it's worse now. So, and it's sad because now you got the SNAP thing happening where I'm filming this, it's the 28th, on November 1st. The SNAP benefits are supposed to run out if Congress doesn't get the government reopened. And there's posts all over Facebook about restaurants saying kids' meals are free. You don't even have to purchase anything, but the kid has to be present. And it's just all over. News articles are putting up maps on their news websites of places that are saying that they give discounts for SNAP. And people are talking about the farmers and, importing beef from Argentina to get the beef price down. And of course, the local beef producers are like, no, don't do that. We're trying to play catch up from all the years we've been losing money. And so it feels, just looking at it, like the public is catching on, but no one's stopping them and saying, guys, this isn't new. This is just an extension of the same problem that we've been having for 70 years. When we started subsidizing food and letting merchants force sellers to take cheaper prices for volume, and it made customers think that the price they were seeing on the shelf was the price to actually make that product, and that's not true. All of those cheap prices of food in the grocery stores are artificially deflated. They've been manipulated down at the expense of the farmers. The people that are making the money are the middle line distributors and the trucking companies and the big box retailers, and the small producers and the small grocery stores and the farmers are the ones getting squeezed. So it's I don't know how we fix that problem. I don't have a huge audience. I've reached out to senators and congresspeople in New Mexico that have huge audiences and the ability to fix some of these, and have gotten zero response. I saw a message from, because my representative in Congress is Gabe Vasquez, and I saw a post on his thing about have a coffee with a congressman, and I signed up for that. And of course, there's no guarantee that you actually get to do that, but it's like we need to fix this. Like, it's been going on for decades, and we need to amplify like the problem that people are trying to solve, but we can't solve it without money. It's physically impossible. And it's got to be money for food and labor, not money for buildings and equipment and construction and land. We don't have to do a lot of construction. We don't have to spend a lot on buildings to open a grocery store. We're very efficient at it. The part that is the problem is the food, the inventory, and having good quality people that can take care of these things, because they're not highly processed foods. And people enjoy shopping in grocery stores where there is attentive staff, and we love our smaller stores. It's a way better shopping experience than a big box store. We may have less items to get, but people will actually enjoy their time shopping there. And I would rather have 20 of them very small and spread around, as opposed to like 2 or 3 big giant ones. And so, so if you're watching this and you have an audience of any size, I don't care if it's 10 people or 10 million, share this video with them, talk to them, and educate them on what's really going on, that this has been something that's been becoming worse and worse for decades. It's not a new thing. When people are posting about all this right now on social media, we're posting about it 40 and 50 years too late. And so, that's probably the big takeaway from this video. So wish me luck, cross your fingers. Let's hope that maybe there's other people that will join me at this summit, and we can actually move the needle and do something and put the money in the right place. The number of times people have brought up the Healthy Food Financing Fund to me, I want to strangle them, That fund has no expertise at all on how to distribute funds. They don't put the money in the right hands. We've applied 3 times and been denied 3 times. And every time we're denied, they say, you guys scored really high above everybody else, but we wanted to, and they lie. They basically make up reasons why we didn't qualify, but it's not an actual reason because we actually do the thing that they said. Like the last time that they said we were not funded was because they wanted to send more funds to rural areas, which is insane because that's literally what we do. We probably send more money to rural areas than the total amount of money they give away in that fund. Because some years it's not that high. I think one year was like only 250 or like $300,000 they could give away. And I know for a fact in a year, this year we're going to provide more than that, and it's going to go to rural areas. And then of course we saw the list of the people that were funded the last time around, and it was people in South Valley and in Albuquerque and things like that. And it's like, you lied. So yeah, there's a lot of strangling that I would love to do to a lot of the system. But that's illegal too. We're just going to list off all the laws we should be breaking to fix the food system. Yep. All right, that's the end of my thing. Like I said, share this, have conversations with people, tell them that this has been a 50-year thing, and if they want to do something about it, they need to start talking to people in government and that make policies and laws, and tell them you got to change the way you do it. You need to give cash in a way where it gets in the hands of the people who are actually, growing and making the food and distributing it around and getting it to the customer. That's where and not capital, not buildings and construction and things like that, because banks are really good. They will lend on collateral, on hard assets. No bank and lots of grants programs will not touch paying people, paying operations, paying overhead, and paying for inventory. I've looked. It's not out there. If you find one, send it to me. I would love to apply for it, but they're very rare. So that's my ask of you today. So thanks for following, and I'm going to try to do this more often. I know I'm terrible at it. I'm an introvert, so this thing is not easy for me, even though I'm super knowledgeable on a lot of things and have a lot of things to share. I want to try to do better at it. If you have questions, put them in the comments, and I'll get my best to get after those, because my job is to help people understand why what we're doing is so hard, and why it feels like we've been failing for 3 years straight. All right, I'm Chris signing off, and we will see you next time. Hopefully it's not too long. Thank you.